Alright, here's this video. I wanted to do it in one take, which I did, and it's gone way too long. But I had some weird effect on that made my head look really small and my body look really big, and I looked like this. So if you wonder why I'm looking a bit weird in that video, that's why. It's called, oh, I can't adjust it while it's recording. It was like slim face or something. I must have bumped the button, and it makes your head slim. I don't know. I don't understand it. I think that was the thing I pressed. Jeez. How are yous? It's the latest version of my embryo. It's a bit cloudy still. It's clearing out in the keg still. Not as red as usual. I'd run out of Simpson's Dark Crystal, which I've been using and loving for a year or two now, or actually probably longer than that. So I had to mix it with a bit of medium crystal, and it just didn't kick the colour up right. But it's still tasty. Anyway, as ever, I keep banging on about how busy I am, and I have been very busy. The last day or two, I've had some time to watch people's videos and go over a few things. Record a video. I just recorded the video of putting, brewing the beer for the Fermentosaurus. It's in the fridge over there now. Just fits in the fridge. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. If you're going to buy one, you need a big fridge. Anyway, enough of that crap. It's my first beer for the day. I've still got to do the cleaning, clean the elements, and I've already flushed the chiller, plate chiller, but you know, you got to do it properly. There it is there. Look, that's the one I brewed today. It's still clearing in the tube a bit. Pale ale. Anyway, Dan Pixley, what's his name? Dan ABA, Sour Pixie. No, I shouldn't say that. It sounds awful. No, Dan. Dan. I think Pixley's his name is, or ABA, as most people probably know him. He nominated me for some question thing. It must be something to do with tasting Nitch, is it? I don't know. I haven't got to watch many other people's. Actually, I haven't watched any other people's ones about this video, so I don't know much about it, and I haven't even read through the questions. I don't know if Dan's made me different ones to what he had to do. No, they look like the same questions that Dan had to do, but we'll try and get through them. Thanks, Dan. What was your first beer? My first beer, I think, was a KB in the dimpled can. Cold Gold KB. An Australian beer, mass-produced, of course. I don't even think you can buy it anymore. It's either that or DA. There's a lot of photos with me hanging around with long necks of DA, because that's what my grandpa used to drink, but I don't remember drinking it, but it's possible I did. So it's KB or DA. They used to call KB kids beer, but it wasn't kids beer. But anyway, how did you get into beer geeking? Beer geeking. I saw Dan answer that, and I did have a quick think. That's about the only one I could remember. I don't know. I don't think I'm a beer geek. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I've learned a lot, you know, and nearly 10 years ago or something, I did an advanced brewing course, and I've read nearly every brewing book known to man. I had more turn up. I got one turning up soon. I had a mead one turn up last week. And I love reading and learning about it, but when it comes to actually putting a lot of that stuff into practice, or even talking about it with other people, there's a lot of it just I read it, I go, all right, that's interesting, I know how it works, but I don't need it. I'm a home brewer, and I don't have any aspirations to be anything but a home brewer. So I don't know if I am. I'm not as geeky as some. Like my macro mates might go, "Oh, you're a beer geek," but I go, "Oh, hang on, you don't know beer geek." Dan's a beer geek. He loves his sours and things. You know, interested in the finer things and that about it, and that's just not really me at all. I enjoy a good beer. I think I can pick a good beer and a bad beer, and that's all that really matters to me. That's why you don't see tasting videos or things like that, because it's just isn't me. It's good or bad, and you know, if I have to know it, I know it. If it doesn't matter at home brewing level, I don't think about it. It doesn't really need to be done. I think about it. I get into it for 5 seconds, like water chemistry, and I used to measure it all out, but that only happens for about a month or two, And then now I know, all right, about a teaspoon of that I'll chuck in, and a teaspoon of that if it's I want it a bit hoppier. So I don't know. I might be a beer. I might just be a beer nerd. Is geek worse than nerd? I don't know. Confusing, and I'm confusing myself. I just like a beer. Cheers. I don't think I'm a geek. Who else is a geek? Dan's a geek. I said that. I don't know many other beer geeks. They don't talk to me because I hassle them too much. I give them shit about being beer geeks. Anyway, what's my favourite beer? My favourite beer at the moment's been my amber ales. Not this one particularly, but the recipes that led to this one. This is about the 6th or 7th time in the last 12 months I've probably brewed this recipe, but I didn't have that malt. It didn't have that malt. It had different hop. But amber ale at the moment. But if I go to a pub, I'll always have try their IPAs, American browns, and their pales. That's me. I suppose if I had to pick one, I'd go with an American pale, even if it's brewed with Australian ingredients. Just nice, easy drinking pale ale with a nice bit of hop bitterness and hop flavour. That's me. Pity my beers aren't like that. No, they are. That one will be. This one isn't. If you could have only one beer, what would it be? Well, I think that probably answers it. It would be a hoppy pale ale. Was that one supposed to be a brand? My favourite beer? Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I fucked up that last question. Oh, swear and sorry. My favourite brand beer. I don't know. I don't really go out much to drink lately. Probably every 6 months or something I go out. And I don't buy any, so it's all home brew. I'd have to say something silly, like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you my favourite brand beer. VB, there you go. Fuck, I don't know. Little Creatures or something. See, there you go. The beer geeks will hassle me because I said Little Creatures. Because it's been bought out by the macros. And the beer geeks will go, fuck, you can't drink that anymore. I go, stuff it, it's alright. Or 4 Pines, there you go. That might make... Well, they just got bought out too, I think. I'll say 4 Pines. 4 Pines, beers. I'll say they're 4 Pines Pale Ale. There you go, that's my favourite commercial, even though I never buy it. Alright, and the other one, that's... If you could only have one, what would be pale ale. So that's those two questions. How can you drink so much and stay healthy? Most people probably don't know that I've been very sick, or I've mentioned I've been sick, but I've got Crohn's disease the last 2 or 3 years. And you speak to any other person with Crohn's, and they'll tell you, oh, don't drink beer, don't drink alcohol. They are doing studies with links with it that it could be yeast that plays up with your guts, and it could be the fact that I pour vats of yeast down my throat. If that happens, I'll just filter. It's not gluten. People, the uneducated people about gut, well, the first thing they'll say is fucking it's gluten. It's not fucking gluten that causes Crohn's, or it's IBD, irritable bowel disorder, not IBS. People that fart too much, it's a bit worse than that. Like your guts start eating you from inside out, if that makes any sense. And then they end up cutting your bowel out, and if that's the worst case scenario, then you die. That's the very worst case scenario. But otherwise, I've had to cut my beer drinking down a lot since I had children, because changing nappies with a hangover, and I'm a stay-at-home dad, is a bitch. You just don't want to do it. So that was one of the reasons I stopped drinking through the week. And I got fat again, as you've probably noticed in my videos. So I've cut down a bit. I drink Friday nights is my splurge, and then if we go out for lunch on a Sunday, maybe once a month or something, I'll hit it again. Or maybe a brew day if someone comes over on a Sunday. I'll do it. But that's about it. I don't know about staying healthy. Just go for a walk. Now I'm walking the kids to school. That's enough. I've lost 10 kilo in the last 6 months or 5. Well, probably not 6 months. Less than that. 3 or 4 months since school started. Just before I think it started. I cut my drinking down during the week and just... Well, I don't drink during the week. Might have one with cooking dinner if it's happened to be one of those stinking hot days and you got the shits. But that's pretty rare. But I smash them on Fridays. So I don't know. I don't try and stay healthy. I'm old. I'm with the old school people. I'm not one of these young blokes that goes out jogging and stuff. I got a club foot. I can't go jogging. You want me to list me fucking ailments? Oh, I swore again. Sorry, guys. I don't usually swear on my videos. I try not to. Are you an... Oh, where are these questions going? I forgot these ones here. Are you an alcoholic? Yes. No. I shouldn't say that. But I am. Not at the moment. I've had stints where I've been an alcoholic for I could say all the time I probably spent playing in bands as a job. I was an alcoholic. I could blame the band's life for that, or I could blame wanting to be a musician so I could be an alcoholic. I don't know. But I've just loved booze and I could drink every day. If I didn't have children, again, the children thing, and the wife, you know. The doctor said I was going to be dead by 18 from drinking too much, and then he said I was going to be dead by 19, and then he said I was going to be dead by 20, then 21, and it kept going on and on. Now I don't listen to the doctor anymore. And now I'm just about to turn 50 in 2 years, 3 years, 2 years, 67, 3 years. But I expect it to take my life at some stage. But as I said, I've cut back. I'm trying to be a little bit sensible. Fucking wait till some of my friends say this. No, anyway. I am alcoholic. It's in my blood. You know, I think my grandfather had a fair whack at it. I think the old man had a fair whack at it too, but I don't know if they were alcoholics. I'm not that much. You know, ask someone that cares. What's an alcoholic? I don't know. Anyway, I've known a few, and most of my mates that were full-on alcoholics are dead. What's your favourite ingredient? I'm going to have to say malt. Hops. Yes, I'm a bit of a hop head, but I also like malty beers, and they're in both, so malt. Yeast? No. Yeast is boring. Yeast is good. But that's a geeky thing. What's your favourite? Do you brew? Yes, I brew. I didn't know. Is this questionnaire for people that don't brew? That makes me... I might be able to think of someone to nominate then. Nominate me mum. Well, she doesn't do videos. Do I brew? Yes, I brew. Who in the beer world do you look up to? I don't know. Is there anyone called Victoria Bitter? Was that a girl or a bloke? I don't know. Look, I didn't really look up to anyone for years. I started brewing when I was 18 out of just wanting to have more booze. And I've brewed ever since. You know, I had a couple of years off here, but I always come back. The last 10 or so years has been constant, or probably even longer than that, 15 years maybe. But who do I look up to? I don't know. I think there was one beer I remember having. There was a couple of local beers. That's what I should have said was my favourite. Feral. I was in a dry spell of brewing. I was a bit bored of it, and the only beer you could buy in a pub around here was Cooper's Pale Ale. That was fancy in Melbourne. I used to travel suburbs to find a Cooper's Pale Ale because they were all down here in Melbourne. They're all drinking out of these, what we used to call a girl-sized glass. God, you can't say that these days, can you? Or a pot for old men and ladies, I should say. And you used to look around pubs and go, why does this pub look so weird? And of course everyone was drinking out of these tiny glasses. Anyway, I digress. And we used to travel suburbs to find a Cooper's on tap, just because it was different, you know. And then I think I went to buy drugs. No, I went to this pub in what's it called? I won't be able to remember now. I think it's in North Carlton or something like that. I think it's called. I'm not going to remember. So I should have studied these and read it. Anyway, there's a pub over there. I think it's on. I can't remember the name of the street. Anyway, they had the guy apparently was the brother of the two brothers started Feral Brewing in the Western Australia. Some of these facts are probably wrong. That was a long time ago, and I was drunk. And one of them left and come over to Melbourne, and he was managing a pub, and they were bringing in Feral Hop Hog in the keg. As far as I knew, that was their first beer. Bug me if I know if it wasn't. It was the first beer I ever saw of theirs. And it was the only place, apparently this was a story the guy told me that was sitting at the bar. It was the only place that was getting it shipped in cold. And I'd never tasted anything like it, this IPA. Prior to that, I was drinking a Hargraves Hill ESB, which was pretty hoppy for an ESB. For me back then, anyway. They were two of my favourite beers for a long time. Hargraves Hill ESB and a Feral Hop Hog. So, anyway, that got me into those sort of beers. And then Punk IPA turned up in Dan Murphy's, of all places. And I had a Punk IPA, and that was the first time I'd had anything in a bottle that tasted like the stuff I was getting out of a keg. At this pub. The Great Northern. There you go. God, this video's going way too long. Who's going to watch all this shit? It was the Great Northern Hotel. Used to buy great drugs. No, it's jokes. It's jokes. Yeah, and so I had the Punk IPA, and I went, fucking hell, that's all right. I swore again. In a money jar or something. And that's right. And so I started brewing again, and I wanted to. I was already brewing, but I wanted to pick it up and brew stuff like that. And the brew shops around were pretty rubbish. There was one local one, but we all got sick of the service there. And it wasn't open on Sundays. I never had a car. There was no brew shop near me. And the only time the missus was home with a car was a Sunday. She used to work Saturdays. So we used to have to travel and go to that Brewcraft or whatever they are. Terribly overpriced stuff. Like they had some stuff there, limited range, a lot of extract kits. And it was so overpriced. But anyway, it was my only choice. So I was going there, started trying to brew hoppy beers, and then anyway, next minute I see an ad in the paper. It wasn't in the paper, I don't know where I saw it, online or somewhere. I went to the pub, I might have saw an ad in the pub. And it was an Ale Stars thing at in St Kilda, at the pump, what do you call it, the pub house, something? No, it's not the pump house. The Ale House, something. Whatever it is, that other pub in St Kilda that I go to every now and then. Names aren't important. It's like details and geekness is not important. You just got to know how to make good beer. And it was the guy, James Watt, from Brewdog was doing a presentation thing there. And so I bought a ticket. And I went there, and this is before any all the geeks have got cranky about him and that, and Brewdog, because I still think they brew great beers, and that's all that matters to me. Anyway, so I got to meet him, and it was awesome. His story was really cool. He was a funny bloke, and he brewed good beer, and he knew how to drink. So if I was going to say who I looked up to, he's probably the first person that I'd say that I went, wow, fuck, good story, good beer, good bloke. You know, that would have been the life if I had been a bit younger and rich. But anyway, they talk the story about getting money from the banks. Well, I tell you what, no one will give money to an alcoholic like I used to be. But Anyway, that's about it. That went for a lot longer than I wanted it to. That's 20 minutes, and I won't cut it. I'll leave it all in. I should cut the swear words. Anyway, I wanted to do a 10-minute thing. Too many questions tasting Nitch and Sour Dan ABA. Anyway, cheers. I hope you wake up out of a coma soon. I should have gave a warning at the start. Anyway, before I show me bum, I better go. Cheers. I just noticed, I've been looking going, fuck, I look fat in this. I was swearing. I must have pressed something and there's some sort of fisheye lens thing. Like, look how small my head looks and I just got to move. There's something weird going on. I've hit some effect on this phone. That's why I look like, I don't know, my head's shrinking. Help me! Bloody hell, eh?